beginning stuff. Save a little bit of space by combining those two. Get a jacket. And then hopefully we get lucky over here. Okay, binoculars, rifle scope, water tester, some water, disposable shopping bag. Put these in there. Fine. We can head up then. We really just... Okay. Go here. Grab that. We could use the fur to make gloves. No, that's not what I wanted to grab. Let's see if we can figure out a way to do this. Need that. Oh, that was a lot of stuff. Okay, wow. Only those two. That was very lucky. Oh, and there's shoes there. Not the best shoes, but there was shoes there. Okay, that's 14%. That's 75. I don't have any other right shoes. That one has to go. Oh, there's another lighter. And some more string. We can use that after we rest. To make glove. Probably don't need the glove, but what we can do too, that last bit of fur can be used to make a sling. It's not the best weapon, but it can do a lot if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna pretend I do. I could make a bag out of one of those. Could carry more things. It does give me a slightly bigger inventory. Oh, hopefully that's an actual shack in the woods. Those can have some pretty good loot. Oh, the bag. I'm really lucky. Oh, it's almost just gonna use that as a easier way to transfer things over. Was this bag or this bag better? This bag's better. Wait. hoping to get a crowbar soon-ish. As if I fixed it. There we go. We'll keep the sling. That'll make it so there's a little bit more space. Grab that. $77 edition, $45. Could put a strap on the crowbar. Okay. Sorry, that stressed me out a little bit. I thought he might have actually had, like, bullets. It's not even a good rifle, but... Peering into the distance, you see a bright sign reading Zomzoms, a place to eat, hanging over a giant garage door, fenced off behind tarp and barbed wire. Bright lights, welding arcs, and peculiar shadows can be seen in the fenced area, and more lights from within the warehouse. A semi-trailer attached to one of the loading bays acts as a makeshift gate and pedway into the warehouse. Ragged-looking figures line up alongside the trailer, watched over by armed mercenaries. It looks more like a club than anything else, except for that tarp area. Then you see it. A truck on the other side, offloading prisoners of some sort. That doesn't bode well. But then again, people come and go freely everywhere else, and are entering voluntarily through the pedway. While in line, you feel a flutter of anxiety each time the line advances. With each step, you try to catch a glimpse of what's through the doorway in the trailer, but you still can't tell. Most of the people in line are ragtag-looking, wearing mismatched clothes and stinking of sweat. Some confused, others bored. The guards are better groomed by comparison, though you suspect they'd just as soon murder you for your clothes if they weren't being paid. Up a few wooden plank steps, you step into the semi-trailer, and hollow sounds of a crowd echo down the narrow corridor from the warehouse. To your right is a chipboard and mesh booth, where an attendant is collecting fees and weapons and stamping people before they walk down the trailer into the warehouse. Stock or spectator, the attendant drones, looking disinterestedly past you. What you got? Looking behind her, you see eye slabs, shoes, and sundry items. It looks like there are definitely some items that accept more than others, at least today. You offer your item, which she stashes in a metal locker. Hand, she demands, reaching for a stamp as you present your hand. She applies a symbol and number, then nods to another grizzly merc, who checks you for weapons. He tosses your confiscated items into a numbered bin, and ushers you down the trailer. Inside, it's one part super club and one part gladiator pit. A wall of sound assaults your ears as you cross the threshold. Part human cacophony, part generator exhaust, mostly frenetic industrial music, and the smell of food and smoke. You can't hear it over the noise, but you can feel your stomach rumble, the smell of sweet barbecue. The cavernous warehouse is dominated by a dirt-floored arena, with high mesh walls. Spectators ring the pit on three sides, the fourth reserved for a large garage door leading outside into tarp-fenced courtyard. Beyond the door, you catch the flash of welding arcs, where it appears scrapyard robots are being prepped. Opposite the garage door, the thing you really care about right now, a wide booth with grills spewing sweet and spicy smoke into the rafters above. People clamor to get at it and walk away with their prize smeared over hands and lips alike. Barbecue. You wade through dirty patrons, intent on manhandling some ribs, or beans and rice, or whatever it is they've got cooking over there. Who knows how long you've been in cryo? How long it's been since you've had a hot meal? Pressing your way through this final wall of hungry patrons, you get an elbow on the counter and desperately try to make eye contact with one of the servers. A few eternal minutes later, one of the apron-clad food slingers glances at you, and you nod like an excited dog. He reaches into his smoker box, withdraws a loaded skewer, and places it in your hand. Sweet, succulent barbecue. Savoring it at first, you start to grow paranoid that it'll be snatched from your hands. You bear down on it with renewed fervor, huddling with it against your lips as you absently walk away from the grill. This meat. It's like good, fully developed veal. Not young, but not yet beef. Yes, very definitely like that. And not like any other meat you've tasted. In fact, so much so that you think no person with a palate of ordinary, normal sensitiveness could distinguish it from veal. It is mild, good meat, but with no other sharply defined or highly characteristic taste such as, for instance, goat, high game, and pork calf. The steak is slightly tougher than prime veal, a little stringy, but not too tough, or stringy to be agreeably edible. Roast is tender and in color, texture, smell, as well as taste, strengthens your certainty that of all the meats you habitually know, veal is the one meat to which this meat is accurately comparable. Just then an announcer pipes up, with that same oscillating voice that every strip club DJ seems to have. He starts hyping the crowd. Can you count? Suckers, he shouts. Patrons start yelling back. I said, can you count? On cue, a testosterone-fueled wave of shouts comes from the floor. Raise those numbers, he calls with expectation, and everyone raised their fists in unison. The music changes, lights switch to UV, and numbers appear on all those stamped hands. Your heart starts to race as you realize what's happening. Look around, everyone has a stamp, most like yours. They all have numbers, but it's clear now what the symbols are. Patrons like you have silhouettes of vultures next to their numbers. Those unlucky few who don't have lambs. The announcer calls a number, a low number. Feeling somewhat relieved, you raise your hand above your head. Patrons around you look up to it for a moment and continue scanning the crowd. A scream of protest erupts from the far side of the arena. Everyone nearby looks across. A commotion is starting. A man is hoisted into the air, like a crowd surfer at a concert, and propelled to the arena gate. Patrons claw the remainder of his barbecue from his flaming hands, fighting over it like dogs. Guards wrangle the struggling man and toss him onto the dirt floor in the arena as the gate is sealed behind him. The winner is filthy, weak, and confused-looking human. As he clambers to his feet, a clacking and squeaking sound crescendos from the opposite side of the arena. Cheers start erupting through the warehouse as the source of the noise rolls into the arena through the garage door. The bot is little more than a heavy, treading ring of barbed spikes. A haphazardly hung LED ticker sits atop its mast, flickering the words Morning Star, confirming your suspicions as to its nature. Without pausing, the bot starts closing in on the human, who, to his credit, has given up rattling the gate and is now facing the more imminent danger. He starts circling left, leading the bot to one side of the pit, then dashes right as fast as he can, bypassing the bot. The move buys him a few seconds, as the bot spins in place on its treads, but he ends up in the same situation on the reverse side of the arena. This continues for a few laps, with the human visibly wearing down. Perhaps realizing his error, he switched tactics and leads the robot towards a support column and allows it to get close before ducking around behind it. The bot starts turning in place, but the tread gets hooked on the pillar, and for a moment it appears to be stuck. You can sense the tingle of hope in the man as he watches the bot rock to and fro for several seconds. However, the bot's rocking eventually frees it, and it turns to face him again. Crestfallen, the man returns to his original strategy of dodging the robot like a bullfighter, ever more slowly each pass. It doesn't take long for the robot to wear down its already weakened prey, and it scores its first hit, trampling his leg under treads. The man's cry of pain is lost in a wave of cheering from the crowd as the robot backs up. The man hardly has time to limp before it rams him again, this time falling through and impaling him against the wall. Drunk with bloodlust, the crowd is now screaming as the robot backs away once more from the stumbling, bleeding man. The robot rams him into the wall one more time and backs away, this time with the human stuck on its spikes. The crowd cries out in ecstasy, which eventually simmers down to rabble as the arena service personnel remove the entrails. Your mouth agape, you suddenly feel a wave of nausea. You begin looking around, panicked. Unsure what to do next, you look around the room anxiously, waiting for something to happen. Word is, you've got a good medical plan. The voice startles you, even amidst the shouting crowd, and you turn to find a young man with an old face. He looks to be of Asian descent, with hair like a mop, big aviator glasses, and a probably white fur coat. Relax. I don't work here. In fact, I'm going to try to make sure you don't either. Come on. He turns and heads toward the garage door. Since that's away from the arena's human-sized gate, you decide to follow. You get the sense he's a patron too, or at least not with the management. As neither guard nor patron seems to pay him much attention. A little bird told me, he shouts over the crowd of music, you might know a thing or two about cryogenics. He talks over his shoulder as he walks, as if tossing words your way. I know a guy who's looking for some heavy-duty cooling units. He may be willing to trade for some info on where to score a few. You arrive at the massive garage door. The cool air seems tinged with ozone. His name's Stoat. Come on, dude. I'll introduce you. Out in the robot prep yard, mechanics are tending to their creations. Your companion stops alongside a tall robot, reminiscent of a farm combine. You shudder to think what it does to a human with those blades. But then something inside moves. Crawling out the feeder house behind the blades is a mechanic. He looks around and, satisfied, waves another out. The second looks more like one of the patrons than a mechanic, starved and scared. The pair skulk along the fence line and disappear out of sight. Fur coat guy turns back to you, with a proud yet devious grin on his face. The stoat is pleased to make your acquaintance. Now, about that medical plan. He suggestively taps his wrist. Ooh, counteroffer, he says, stroking his chin. Okay, tell you what. He snaps into action. I got a thing. Some place that needs, certain items liberated. He makes air quotes. You trade their beliefs to it, and I'll let you in on the haul. Here's what's up. Camp Grayling. You heard of it, right? Big old military base. Somewhere in Michigan? No? Guess you have to be in certain circles. He flicks something invisible from his coat. All sorts of rumors about that place. The one thing that's sure, it's full of tech. Oops. But Stoke gives a finger at nothing. I don't expect you to pilot those babies out of there. What I need you to do is get inside the base and bring back everything you can find on them. Schematics, blueprints, test data. The more the better. Be warned, it's a death machine nest. You think these are brutal? Stoat gestures around the prep yard. Drunk, angry teenagers compared to trained assassins. In return, he says, scratching his chin, I'm thinking the power structure will be shifting a bit around here, and the new one will be of the IOU variety. He points at your chest. So deal of a lifetime, dude. Nice. He laughs. He extends a hand. You meet it with yours. Okay, like I said, it's a death machine nest. I've got some goodies for that. Let's say it's an advance payment. Or a signing bonus. Either way. Step one, he says, counting it out with his fingers. That bracelet. Still need me some cryo goodness after all. Unsure whether you want to give the strap, you subconsciously fidget with it a moment, then read it over once more. Instead, you decide to share the facility address, but keep your name to yourself. Smart, he says, tapping the side of his head with his index finger. You're a smart dude. Tell you what. He starts unlatching a flight case near the combine bob. An array of electronic parts and gadgets fill the case. Scanning his hand across the range of parts, he selects one, then closes the case again. Here. He hands you some sort of measuring device. It'll keep you healthy. Remember when you get there. As for me, I might have to check into your fancy clinic soon. I think I'm coming down with a little something. He fakes coughs and clears his throat, grinning. Step 2, get inside. The goodish, baddish news is that your new toy will help, but you'll likely need to supplement with tricks of your own. Nobody's come back from there. Though rumor has it some protesters managed to embarrass the brass at Grayling back in the day. You probably have to rummage through some old newspaper stories to verify that, though. Anyway, that's step 2. Figure out how to get in. Step 3. Find schematics. Some are convenient for personnel to get to, day and night. Step 4. Test data. Download it off the control tower, using this. He hands you a small flash drive. Plug and play. Easy. Step 5. Bring it all to me. Got it? He looks over your shoulder. Oh. Also, you'll probably want these back. You turn and see a familiar face from the front gate. She drops the lockbox with your checked items. You cast a glance at the stoat, and he shrugs. What? I can't do this alone. Your safest bet is to go along the fence, where they went. He thumbs over his shoulder, indicating the route the mechanic and patron followed. Unless you're still hungry, he laughs, a mocking a vomiting motion. See you around, dude, he calls over his shoulder, walking back to the warehouse. Stoat's friend waits as you gather your things from the lockbox. Better make sure you empty that locker while you have the chance. Once ready, you head along the fence and return to the wastelands, towards a higher measure of normality. Okay, now let's clear do not from here. I almost missed those. Okay, I got everything. Okay, a bunch of dogs. I think I can deal with that. Seriously? Switch dogs? Hopefully. Oh, what? What happened? I... Claire died due to cardiac arrest.